even what appears to you as an absolute shortcut, there is probably 10 years behind it of work and failure that didn't take them anywhere. And then that one thing they did over 1 year, boom. So the 1 year you saw is actually just the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much work that's done behind it.
He came here 20 years ago and worked in a men's clothing store. Tried to find out what he could do to become successful, and he found real estate. He's gone on to build one of the most successful real estate brokerages here in the UAE and 14 other companies as well. Firas Al Msaddi.
I never ever put a face to any competitor.
None of them ever in 10 years?
None of them. And since I started, I think the real race is who can create more value to clients. That's it. I actually tell people there's a massive opportunity to actually collaborate with competitors. I can be competing with you to death over this track, but here I can collaborate with you and, make money together. What you can get in Dubai, you don't get anywhere else in the world. The level of safety combined with infrastructure, quality of services, there's genuinely no benchmark, and it's only a matter of time for more and more people to be exposed to the experience of Dubai and what Dubai has to offer, and just more and more people will come.
My old friend Firas, thank you for coming to join us again today, mate.
Thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Long time no see. It's been a few years that I haven't seen you. I did an event for you a little while back, but you came on the show many years ago. And I've just been thinking about your growth over the course of the last 10 years has just been out of this world. And so if a show's called Made in Dubai, then you really are made in Dubai.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man.
Tell me a little bit about your backstory, because obviously we know each other well, but I'd love everybody to know how you made it in Dubai and really where you started from all those years ago when you were doing the security work and everything else, and really kind of like how your mind used to work when you were in those early days.
Honestly, I have the same mindset, the same approach, that I see life exactly the same now as compared to when I started. But in a nutshell, as you probably know, I arrived to Dubai 15th of December 2005. I knew nobody. I spoke no English. I had no money whatsoever. I was working in a fashion shop. I did that for a year and a half. And I remember very well when I started, it was shifts. I was literally doing double shifts every single day because I knew that the game's all about, the more you learn and the more you practice, the more experience you gain. And with more experience, you will always produce more and grow much faster. So I kept doing 2 shifts until the manager said, listen, no more pending days, because every time we do one more shift, you get a pending day that you can take off. But I've never actually taken off. So he said, you can't do pending days anymore. I literally continued to do double shifts because I knew that I needed to practice more to move faster. And then I started to look for, next. I was a bit suffocated being in a retail shop. As a result of what I did there, first year I was top sales on the entire United Arab Emirates for that company I was working for. I started taking interviews. I took, 40, 50 interviews. I remember so well the first interview I took, Spencer, I sat, they said, hello, thank you for coming, tell us about yourself. I've literally frozen like this. I was just like this. I couldn't even say hello back to them. And then they said, okay. I couldn't say anything. I just stood up and I left. And wow. I remember so well, as I was walking out of the door, I remembered so well that in my mind, it's actually, I'm one step closer to where I want to be. My next interview was a bit better, then a bit better. And then I joined basically the real estate industry. I actually had the option to do insurance or real estate because I like the idea of not being linked to just a bonus or more salary, or even I looked at my manager back then and his manager. And honestly, that was not good enough for me at all. Although if I told them this back then, they would laugh at me. It was like the dream of every salesman probably next to me to become the shop manager or the area manager. But I like the idea of, the more you close, the more you do, and there's no ceiling. That was insurance and brokerage. But being in Dubai and seeing, 2/3 of the world cranes back then were in Dubai, and seeing the crazy architectural, skyline of Dubai, and it was like, in Syria, where I came from, a skyscraper is like 8 floors back then. So I said real estate. I took my vacation. I did that for 20 days. The minute I walked in, I saw that, no one has wings or magic powers. They're all driving fancy cars, having good life. And I said, if it was just about this, I would just leave everyone behind the dust, honestly. And this is only me and myself. I'm not talking out loud to anyone. And then I did 20 days. I liked it. Did a few rentals, went back, resigned, joined real estate. I did that for a while. And then basically I joined a company called AB Karim. And he's one of my very best friends today. There's nothing more, I would say, heart-touching for me than saying, I've known someone for 18 years and we've worked together and we parted ways at work and we're still extremely good friends. And to the extent that we reconnected back and, now we invest together, we buy and sell together. But anyway, so I did that for a while with him. Then I sold the company. And then I wanted to get some corporate experience. So I joined one of the largest developers in Dubai. They fired me before entering because the recession 2009 hit. And then I took few interviews. It wasn't good enough for me. I remember even one of the companies that are still around here in Dubai, I sat in the lobby of their office for probably 45 minutes waiting for someone to take me for an interview. And no one showed up, so I just left. Then I said, I'm just going to start my own. So I bought a bankrupted license, used to be called Special House Real Estate. I changed the name to FAM, stands for my name, Firas Al Msaddi, and then I started. I took an office, 3 years, one contract, and the rest is history. Today we stand as the largest real estate brokerage company, I would say, ever built in Dubai. We're crossing 950 brokers now as we speak. 25 offices, out of which 14 retail branches in the best communities this great city has to offer. And because we're very client-centric, we've built so many other synergetic businesses that empowers our brokers to actually provide and create more value to clients. So that's, in a nutshell, married with 4 kids, obsessed with work, gym, and family.
It's interesting that you kind of put it in that kind of way, because most people that have just been listening for the last 10 minutes will be like, what the hell is he on? How did he pull that off? When I look at your business, and I followed you for many years and we know each other, I've seen this business grow. I remember going to an office many years ago and there was a group of people in there, and this has just gone on to become this monster of a company. Wonderful, and congratulations on building such an awesome company. That's the first thing. But secondly, when you look at business and you say you remember from the past that you had the same mindset then as you had now. I think when people are younger, let's say you're earning $100,000 a year, if you go to earning $1 million a year, I think you think the same. You just think with an extra zero. Does that happen when you build a business as big as yours? Do you just, I remember it must have been at the early days when you had 10 people and you're like, I'm making it, we're getting somewhere here. And then you get to 100 and you're like, whoa, 100, 100 brokers, that's a real milestone. And now you're sitting there at 950, you'll be at 1,000 at some point fairly soon. Yeah. That's just incredible.
I think a good analogy to explain this is that I've always followed the same North Star and principles that has not changed. I believe money magnifies who you are. It does not actually change people. If you are generous, you would just be generous at a bigger scale.
Yeah.
If you are a bully, you would just be bullying more and bigger people as you get bigger. It's like the gravity law. It's there even before people knew about it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I just didn't know a label for what I was doing because I wasn't trained. I wasn't, mentored. Basically, everything and everyone was a mentor to me. I was extremely hungry to learn, and I'm the same today. I'm still extremely hungry to learn from everyone and everything around me. Now Steve Jobs says, I remember one of his speeches, you connect the dots moving forward. And it took me a few years to understand this. But now I understand this, okay, sometimes you learn certain things, you see certain things, you make certain decisions. And then when you move forward 1 or 2 years down the line, you'd be like, oh, sorry, you connect the dots moving backwards, not forwards, sorry. Now you connect the dots moving backwards. Now everything makes more sense. So in a nutshell, to answer your question, now I can, there's a clear label and I can articulate that in words. What I was doing before, not knowing it in text. It was just how I operate. So I think uncompromising integrity is still like the what guides my behavior in everything I do, whether with my family or with my friends or with people, with community, with anything. It's the way I operate in life. And being so hungry to learn is, I'm still the same as before. And my biggest belief is hard work. This is very controversial because it's not that I don't believe in smart work, but I think smart work is given, but hard work is intentional. And smart work became, I don't know, too cheesy for me because it became more of an excuse for people to learn less. It's like now when people think of smart work, they don't think of smart work in the context of you're going to produce more. The first thing that comes to most minds is that with smart work, you can work less,
Shortcut.
So it's that hard work is like, it's been always at the core of everything I do. I've always thought that with my hard work, I would outperform people, even smarter people than me.
Whenever you listen to someone on social media or a famous voice of some sort that says, I will outwork you. I think Will Smith once says, you and I will get on the treadmill, okay, and one of us is getting off, but I'm prepared to die on the treadmill, not to lose to you. And that for me is that kind of embodies that, doesn't it? That people that have got that type of mindset and that desire to work as hard as they can. Now, one of the big questions I have for someone like you, though, is how do you find other people to buy into that philosophy as well? Is it hard? Is it easy? Is it done by persuasion? Is it done by influence? Is it done by, there are just some people out there that are just made that way? How was it for you building the business?
Well, I think you need to find people who align with you in terms of their values. That's so important. It's one of the biggest things I've learned. And aspirations. Sometimes you find people who are, very nice, very ethical, but they don't necessarily believe that they need to make X or to grow to an X level. So you need to understand what motivates them. And if you align in terms of what motivates them and you align with their values and value system, you can go to places with them. And I think the most fundamental aspect of any partnership, because, whether it's employment or not, it's some sort of a partnership for me. It's always a form of a partnership, is to really, really find a win-win situation, because loyalty is a two-way stream, is not a one-way stream. And, when you promise someone with something, you just need to literally just mean it. It was more difficult at the start because when you have not built it yourself, to get people to believe in a dream with no concrete solidified substance that you've already delivered, it was harder. But with more time spent at a personal level with these key people, I could get somewhere. I was very lucky that one of the main pillars that I would say attributes to my success is my brother, because he's the tech mind behind everything to do with tech across all our companies. But then as you move forward, I'm in the business of just simply finding people. Today I have a very solid brand name. The values of the brand are known to many, and literally I think if I get this and I just put fam on it, and I have someone with the know-how how to do this bottled water, it will fly the next day. I mean, all the other businesses that I've created, people say, I'm a big advocate of focus. Like, you really need to specialize and to focus to create the most value. And then it kind of contradicts with what people see from the outside. Okay, why did you go into 15, 16 different businesses? It's actually to create more value to clients. But I go into these businesses because I find people who can align with me and who have the know-how of these businesses. I mean, I have businesses I literally don't touch. Some of the businesses, I don't even sit once a year with them. They sit with my backbone, with the leadership team, with my CFO, with my HR, with my CCO. I don't see them at all. And it's an up and running business. It's a profit center, and it's been operating for a few years.
Interesting. Let's go back to this thing about people that have the same values and are aligned with you. That's really interesting. How many of those people are out there, though? Are they few and far between? Is it hard to find them? Because you just said at the end of the day, your job's looking for people. It's almost like you're a recruitment company more than you are anything else, because you've got to find good people to be able to deliver the message of FAM and the growth of the business. And so I believe here in the UAE, we've got this melting pot of lots of different nationalities, lots of cultures, belief systems, and all of this kind of stuff. If I was talking Brit to Brit or Brit to Egyptian, who I'd known for 10 years, that's fair enough. But if I meet a Syrian, if I meet an Indian, if I meet a Saudi, understanding their value system takes a little bit longer than it would do for somebody from my own country. What do you think about that?
I think there are clear indicators to that. For example, if you tell me that someone has been working for a company for the last 15 years, for example, one go, I mean, that tells me a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's about, if your values are right, it means you have long-term thinking mindset. That's it. So that's one of the biggest, indications. Of course, you need to understand values, and you need to be able to really qualify know-how as well, and aspirations. What do they aspire to achieve? But in terms of values, I think you have some really solid indicators to values. I mean, some of my very good friends, for example, if they put their word for anyone, that's it. I don't need even to double check. I work with some contractors because they work with someone I know, and that guy is so sharp and straightforward. For him to work twice or three times with any contractor, that for me is like it becomes a no-brainer to work with them. So there are some indicators to this, and you also get to a point, of course you have to, I don't get it right all the time. I've made mistakes. I've trusted the wrong people. But that never even slowed me down from trusting more people and from giving opportunities to more people. Probably I get an 8 out of 10. So
do you trust people or trial people if they're a 6 or 7 out of 10, but they might be able to be really valuable to the business and to themselves? Or do you kind of want to be at an 8 or 9 out of 10 before you make a decision?
I mean, one rule for me, I need to afford the risk. Whether I'm buying a property, a car, or I'm investing in anything, I need to be able to afford the risk. So if I can't afford the risk of this guy failing or not delivering, I'll never take it, even if I would win $10 million a month with him, if it actually works out. So if the risk is okay, if I can afford the risk, then I take more chances. If I can't afford the risk, I never touch it, basically. Before even I think of how much money I would make or how much success I can achieve, how far I can go with this guy, I have to make sure that I can measure the risk.
Are you measuring the risk financially, or are you measuring the risk in other ways as
in
well?
every way. I mean, reputational risk is far bigger, I think, than financials,
So that person
it can destroy everything financially that you've built financially if something that can risk your reputation. We work, we operate, we run, we carry ourselves in the market based on our reputation. People, I did real estate advertising for me personally to generate leads, clients who want to buy and sell from Firas as a broker, maybe 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been doing this for 18 years. It means probably for 14 years or 18 years I've been in Dubai. So probably 12 years I've never advertised a property for someone to call me to go and do a viewing or to make a deal. All my businesses, and for the longest time, now we have 900 brokers crossing 950. I think what I close on yearly basis is the same or bigger than what the entire company closes. And I don't advertise. But the transactions I make are purely based on trust. So back to the risk, so we don't deviate from that subject. The risk is more for me is reputational risk. The risk is more of me, how much time I have to put back in to fix something that this guy broke. If that guy disappeared, how much do I need to put from my time to go back, and can I afford to put that time in or not?
Do you compare yourself to what others achieve in your space, and does it fuel you, or do you just look at what you're trying to
Like
achieve?
competitors?
Competitors in every way, yeah.
I just don't. I never ever put a face to any competitor.
None of them
Like,
ever in 10 years?
None of them. And since I started, since even I was working in Armani selling clothes, with a salesperson next to me, never ever. Because for me, if it's not Ahmed, it's John. If it's not John, it's Spencer. If it's not Spencer, it's someone else, right?
Yeah.
What I obsess over is, I think the real race is who can create more value to clients. That's it. That's my North Star. That's what I've been doing before even knowing that this is an absolute rule in business and in life in general. Whoever can create more value will win the lion's share.
And do you take it? I look at what you've got.
I make sure that I work so hard to outperform the value they're creating. But there's no face to my competitors. I'm probably a face for many, I don't know. But there's no face to my competitor. I never ever put a face or a name to my competitor.
Interesting.
I'm willing to actually, I'm a big advocate. I actually tell people there's a massive opportunity to actually collaborate with competitors, but you have to compete with ethics in order for you to collaborate with them on different fronts. I can be competing with you to death over this track, but here I can collaborate with you and, make money together.
You've got all these different businesses, and I look at it and I'm like, if I sell someone a house, can I arrange their mortgage? If I arrange their mortgage, can I do the conveyancing? Maybe they need their house decorated. They need a maintenance contract. They're buying a house. Maybe they need a pool done. Maybe they need their garden done. Maybe they need furniture, and so on and so forth. Did it start, the expansion of the other companies around the original brokerage start because you noticed and identified that your clients had other needs, that they were going somewhere else to service, and you could do that yourself?
Yeah, honestly, it was never ever about the money. Genuinely speaking, it was never ever about the money. Not because I'm some naive guy, but because I know that money will follow. I know money will follow value. No one on planet Earth succeeds in a business and at the back of creating more value and sustainable value to clients and didn't make money. It's impossible. Today, you look at I could be giving you a piece of land now. You're a world-renowned architect, and I can give it to someone who just started up. You will charge me maybe $1 million. They will charge me $10,000. It's the same scope, the same zoning, the same regulatory, the same scope of work. It's exactly the same land, right? But you charge a lot more because of your experience, because with your experience, you create more value. So money will follow value. So all these other synergetic services, even when I started in FAM, even before FAM, when I worked, I was probably the only one in this retail shop, the only one who would go down on his knees and tie the shoelaces for clients. Because I knew I didn't read it in a book that it's about creating value. That's what I meant at the start of the podcast. I didn't read it in a book, but my behavior was, I'm going to outperform others with value, not by thinking what others are actually doing. So because I know that if I think, it will distract me from the real game. The real game is, how can you create more value to clients? That's it. If you look at I explain it to my people. I say, listen, if I tell you now, go and, start a supermarket, you can have the best supermarket ever. But if I tell you do 1,000 supermarket, you would never be able to run it in a way where your standards are consistent, the quality are consistent, the quality you provide to clients are consistent. You need to make sure that you have an infrastructure and a system that provides consistent value to clients. At the back of this, you can unlock so much more financial value beyond what's so-called a supermarket. But the core of it all, you look at the Uber, they solve problems for many, for many people worldwide. They created more value at even probably lesser cost in some cases. And you look at this new, what is it called? Amazon is the same. What's this called? The new e-commerce platform, the Chinese Emo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's worth billions of dollars because what Timo, sorry. Yeah. I've never ever bought anything online in my life. It's only I hear this from my wife, and my wife was saying like, this is unbelievable because you can return any goods you don't like at almost no cost across borders all the way to China. So it's about the value. If you look at all these e-commerce that have actually worked out, I am sure everyone, successful e-commerce is probably 1 out of 100,000 attempts that failed. But the one that competes over the value to clients, not over the feasibility study and how much I'm investing and how much I'm getting back, win the most. You have, I think, Namshi or something here also, because sometimes I come home, I find like so much stuff, in the room. I say, what is all of this? And my wife goes like, okay, the kids will try this and that, and then anything is not good, we can just send it back. It's for free. It's client experience, it's value, right?
My wife likes Unas. Because,
Unas, okay. Yeah, that's another.
The stuff could be ordered in 4 hours before dinner and it arrives and she doesn't like it, she sends it back. One of the great stories around that kind of stuff is a guy called Tony Hsieh, and he set up a company in the States called Spatzos. And they were shoes. And so what would happen is you'd order your shoes. If your shoes didn't fit, you would message them in saying, my shoes don't fit. They would send the next pair of shoes to you before you sent your shoes back. Wow. So they weren't waiting for you to send them back to send you another pair. It was like, no, they're on their way. And there was a famous story that really blew them up. There was a woman that was getting married on the other side of the country. They were based in Nevada. The woman was getting married in New England, and she had her shoes and they were the wrong size. And they put her shoes on a plane with one of the staff and flew straight there with the shoes to her to make sure they fit. And she got the shoes for a wedding, and it became national news, and this business just exploded. It was like, wow. But they didn't look at value just for the client. They then looked at value for their staff. How can they make the experience really valuable? So the offices, they had a place that would come and pick up your car for servicing. Your dry cleaning would be done. They opened a barber shop there and all this kind of stuff. So that the staff were allowed to decorate their desk any way they wanted to. And so it became a bit of a thing, and it became cool. And then the other thing is the first 3 months, no matter what your job title was, no matter financial director, coffee boy, you worked in customer service on the phones for 3 months.
Wow.
That was your first 90 days experience in the company. And I think that when you hear this...
Client centricity is insane.
Absolutely. And you think about it. I always...
the only way to deliver value to clients is if you consider all your staff are your second clients. Right? Mm-hmm. They're going to deliver the value, not you.
Absolutely. Here's another one. Your industry, I obviously know lots of people. I know lots of owners, and I often hear the following. And my question is the following to them. So once you've sold somebody a house at Emirates Hills, wherever it may be, how do you keep in contact with them?
Yeah.
And they go, I'm like, okay, so they move in, you give them the keys, your bouquet of flowers, bottle of wine, whatever it is that you do, patchy chocolates. But then when do you reach out to them again? When do you engage with them again? When do you invite them to a dinner again? And they look at me and they're like, all right, someone's just made a purchase of maybe $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 million. That's like a bit of a big deal. They've moved into their family home and you've ended the relationship. So the next time they want to buy a property, they're going to be hearing from somebody else. And that to me just seems absolutely nuts. Yeah. It's like if I sold you a house, I would be wanting to make sure, because at the end of the day, your house is an asset class, just like Bitcoin and stocks and everything else. I want to make sure that whatever money you had that you were ever going to use to your investment management of your portfolio, you'd at least have a conversation with me about to see if I could bring some value to you.
My favorite saying, if you enter my office, you would see the main wall of the office where I come every day. My favorite saying is there, if the opportunity is known to everyone, it's no longer called an opportunity. And what you just said is a massive opportunity. Like you're already there with that client. You've actually transacted with the client.
They trust you.
Now it's like effortless. Just to give a client a call or to invite them for dinner. Or, this is like, if you do this over 3 years, you should not advertise properties anymore. You will just not just live on referrals. I mean, I tell people, I say, listen, my clients are not ghosts, right? These people who I transact hundreds of millions of dirhams and dollars with, they're not ghosts. They meet people, they go out, other brokers call them, but they continue to do business with me because I continue to create value. I continue to better the value I provide every single day. But that's where the opportunity is. And
Why can't
this
people
is
see
low-hanging fruit.
Why can't people
Right?
see that?
That's why the opportunity is known to everyone. It's not, I think some people see it, but to see it is different. Seeing it is different than seizing it, right? To seize the opportunity, you have to start actioning. And those who see the opportunity, some of them start actions and fewer remain consistent all the way to closure, right? So it's like you train people, you say, listen, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, this is not even up to you to decide, not even up to your practice. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, it works. There are so many ways to succeed in this, but this is a bulletproof concept. It's tried and tested. They go, they do it for a day, 2, 3, they come back, they say it didn't work. Well, you need to practice it to the extent of mastering it, not to the extent of, I know how to do it. Many people know how to do it.
Tell me the difference in from when you started recruiting people to how young people behave nowadays in terms of their longevity or their patience or their tolerance to get to success. Because I feel young people today so much more want results so quickly, and if they don't get them, they kind of look the other way and walk down the road. Is it different in your experience now to how it used to be?
I think the opportunity for me is to find the fewer people who think long term.
Okay.
Right? Who aligns with this. Because people who want this shortcuts and stuff, it just doesn't exist. That's it. Even when it appears, and this is what I try to explain to people, you know, I speak to fresh graduates. Sometimes I go to unis and I speak to people and students. I say, listen, even what appears to you as an absolute shortcut, there is probably 10 years behind it of work and failure that didn't take them anywhere. And then that one thing they did over 1 year, boom. So the 1 year you saw is actually just tip of the iceberg. But there's so much work that's done behind it. And that's why I tell brokers, even when you want to, when you want to ask for example, your fees or commission, or you really have to know what you're worth. That's the biggest thing with so many brokers. They don't know their own self-worth. They don't know how big of a value they provide. I always quote my brother. He started one of the events. He said, after schools that provides educations and hospitals that provides healthcare, we provide homes. And even not for those who are end users, you're actually talking to people who worked maybe for 30 years and brought the outcome of the 30 years to you to say, okay, where do I buy? Right? So your advice is extremely valuable. You're doing this 7 days a week. Okay? With the experience you have, you can provide people with advice that will literally change their life. Literally.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a big responsibility.
So that's the biggest thing. I think even today when you have brokers who come and say, that broker closed 5 million dirhams and that was his first deal. Maybe this broker has been working for 2 years sleep. I mean, I had brokers that they were sleeping literally in cars and in the parking. And then they went through a lot of failure and like a massive learning curve. When they mastered the trade, it becomes like second nature for them to sell. One of them is that big deal that one of our brokers did, tens of millions of dirhams worth of commission, but there was a struggle of 8-10 years that started before that transaction.
Okay, folks, let's talk about real estate. Now, a recent partnership that we've just established on the podcast is with AYS Developers. Luxury properties with high-end finishes from people that really understand the subject. Often in Dubai, you'll find stuff that is maybe substandard. With AYS Developers, you're not going to see that. You're going to see fantastic properties that you can buy, you can invest in, you can make a home on Dubai Islands and other places too. So go visit aysdevelopers.ae and check them out. I promise you it'll be worth the trip.
And it's finding people that are prepared to go on that journey and really do an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Really, not necessarily intentionally suffer. One of the worst things that can happen is a new starter getting a bit of luck very early on, because they make a sale in their first month or two, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is easy, and it takes away the focus sometimes, because they've got that sale, they've got their luck. Because I think that everybody has to be prepared to go through some pain.
Yeah.
And everybody has to be prepared to understand that the rules of the engagement that they're about to get involved with aren't the same as what they've known before. And it's kind of like being prepared to unlearn.
Yeah.
So that you can learn, and being kind of like brave enough to do that and have the courage to almost kind of like surrender yourself to the environment and the situation, and say, I will deliver.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone can handle success. And that's why so many people progress really fast at the start. And then it becomes harder for them to progress moving forward, because, not everyone can take, the fact that, oh, now we have so much money, or now we have so much success, or, it takes a lot of intention to remain grounded and to remain very objective on right and wrong.
Tell me how important being a salesperson, a professional salesperson, is for your success.
What do you mean?
The skill of sales. Okay, you hear a lot of the time when people talk about.
I mean, if you're not skilled in sales, I think you're probably very difficult to live up to your maximum potentials, unless you're smart enough to find someone who can sell what you have.
Do you find that people don't like sales, or they don't like to talk about sales in the way, because it's seen negatively by some people?
For me, sales is about, again, back to client experience. Sales is about really understanding a product and choosing a product or a service that creates certain value to certain people. And your sales process should be taking this information in a very personalized context to clients who see it as a solution to certain problems or issues they have. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not selling anything into everyone and by just promoting and trying to sell. So honestly, sales in that context is more of consultancy, is more of a very noble profession.
Solving problems.
Right? Honestly.
Solving
it
problems.
is a very noble profession. Yeah. But if at the time you sell something, all you think about is how much money I'm going to make, so I'm going to turn that product which does not fit them into a product that fits them, just so I can make my commission or make my profit. That's the bad side of the coin, but it's not everyone's. I think you have two schools of sales, for example, in real estate in Dubai today. The first school is, for example, in the off-plan space, the loudest wins. Let's talk about real estate developers. Literally, the loudest wins, because everyone is promising on brochures, and it's a brochure, it's a render, right? And you have these salespeople who the first thing they ask for is how much commission I can make. And the harder it is to sell the product, the higher the commission. Mm-hmm. But the harder to sell the product, the worse the product is. Mm-hmm. That's why there are certain real estate developers. In 18 years, I've never ever sold or spoke about or even asked any of my brokers to sell for it. So that's one school where it's commission driven. And it exists, not only in Dubai, in every market in the world.
Yeah.
And then you have the other school is, as a broker, the biggest opportunity is you look at the entire market and you select the best product to sell. And that best product to sell, if you do this for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I swear, you will stop advertising. Your advertising becomes just picking up a call, the phone, and calling someone you've already dealt with. But you have people who worked for certain developers in Dubai, okay? And that became also, a school in the market. They have to change their mobile number every year because everyone they sell to, they basically sold something that is already overpriced or not good or not a good fit for them, not what they're looking for. And that's how you lose your life, literally, because none of us is going to live forever. So if you do it 5 years properly, at the back of this 5 years, you will build the most long-lasting, success and financial stream of income of financial benefits, literally forever. And if you do this 5 years wrong, you have to again do all the legwork and the donkey work from day one. So the two business models, one is I'm always in the business of finding new people. There are 7 billion people on earth. And the other model is I want to do it with consistent standards and quality with despite what they look like, where they come from, what they're looking for, with every single client that I come across. And in 3 years or in 4 years, I will build the most solidified relationships with these clients that they become clients, my clients forever, and they bring me more clients.
And the funny thing is, Firas, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
If you sell people property and they make money,
it's the same 12 hours. It's the same 10
yeah.
hours a day. It's the same exact thing. You just
Anybody makes money with an investment that you sell them, they like you more. They trust you more. They're going to come back again. It's really, really simple. Do a good job for them. Be ethical. Deliver something that brings value to them. If they've got growth of their value of their property, they can take equity out and buy another property, or whatever the situation is. You're helping them create financial security, or you're helping them get rich. Either way, that's what people like.
Yeah.
Because whether you're Firas or Spencer, we actually all want the same things in life. We want our kids to get a good education. We want to live somewhere safe. We want to have nice holidays, and we want to make sure that we're financially secure. It doesn't matter what your background is. You all kind of want the same thing. So if I can be the conduit to provide that for you, or you can be the conduit for me, then it's very, very simple. We're going to go back to each other. Why people don't get that, I don't know. So
honestly,
I don't understand why you get frustrated by it.
It's like you invest the same time,
Yeah.
but you either have to always restart and do the whole thing all over again, or you invest those 10, 12, 15 hours a day in the right place and in the right way, and you win forever.
Mm-hmm. What's the best and the worst investment you've ever made?
I mean, the best investment is always investing in something I know. The worst investment is me taking chances and investing in something I don't understand. That's what I always lost.
Give me an example, because you must have had one of those over the years.
I think stock market.
Okay.
I've invested in the stock market back in 2010 because the market was down, and I just put some money and I made so much money. Then I sold my house in Syria and I put all the money there. And then in 2012, 13, I can't remember, it went down, it lost like 50, 60, 70% of its value. And since then, I've never ever invested in anything I don't understand. Never.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even for example, I invested in cryptocurrency, but I only invested to the extent that I can manage the risk. And I invested to learn. Like I said, this space cannot be ignored. And the only way for me to learn, because it's not easy to learn, the only way for me to learn is to think long term and to always have a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I went in. I've never ever even thought of selling or trading or anything, because that's not something I know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just bought something. I said, I want to have a piece of this space. If this space in 20, 30, 40 years became something, then, and I can afford the risk if it's all gone. So that was my analogy.
Talk to me about Dubai. We've been here for virtually the same time. I came in January 2005, so we arrived the same year. We both saw the same things. We saw the 3, 4, 5, 6 towers in Dubai Marina. The rest of it was a building site. I remember that. I remember that Safa Park was a lot bigger.
I remember there was no Business Bay, there was no downtown, there was no Burj Khalifa, there were some foundations, but nothing more. The DIFC, I think, had the gate building, and we had one or two things. Emirates Towers was there, but there wasn't a whole lot.
That's where I worked, huh?
In Emirates,
I did probably 6 months there in Emporio Armani.
Did you? In Emirates
Yeah,
Towers, where there was a wine bar there, and there was a Cartier. Oh wow, okay, that's interesting. And so those things were there. The center of town was different. You know, they had this internet city and media city.
Burj Khalifa wasn't there.
No, the greens and if we
the
went,
Greens and Springs and Emirates Living was like that thing, right?
yeah,
I was shocked when I saw it first time. Oh,
that was there. We had the Madinat had just been opened as well, so we could go to the Madinat, and there was the Al Qasr and Mina Al Salam next door. So that's what we saw when we were first here. So we've been lucky at 1.6 million people to grow to 4 million people now over that period of time. This place has absolutely exploded. Why do you think people come here now?
because Dubai is client-centric. And the clients of Dubai are the residents, the locals, those who are passing by, the tourists. It's extremely client-centric. Literally everything. So the client is the investor, is people who are living here, is people who are passing by, people who are coming for vacation. All these people were in mind when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed said, I'm going to build the best infrastructure. I'm going to build infrastructure and people will come. And despite the setbacks that the market went through and Dubai went through, they've never stopped investing in that. They've never stopped investing in infrastructure. Residential projects stopped, okay, at some point. Commercial projects stopped at some point because of the market. But infrastructure, it has never, ever stopped in Dubai. And that's why we are where we are today. I almost want to kiss the ground of Dubai every time I travel and I come back. If you want to believe more in Dubai, just travel, go anywhere, and then come back. The minute I hear Emirates Airlines, I literally feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel secure. It's just amazing. It's unbelievable. You come to Dubai airport,
I'm home.
Yeah.
If the answer is Dubai, what is the question?
The question is, I want to live and invest in a place where there's security, safety, respect, equality as well, despite where you come from, a place where there is infrastructure that provides living experience. And of course, this comes at a cost. Dubai is also, for those who choose to only, is, I think, the world's most overworked place. For those who choose to overwork, like me and you. But for someone who wants, to do 5 hours or 6 hours a day and then enjoy the rest of the time, it's amazing. Whatever you want to do in Dubai is actually there. Like, even if someone is not like a good person or a great person back in their city or in their hometown, they come to Dubai, they behave.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a place that cares so much about their reputation is unbelievable.
We have been here through some pretty dark times as well along the way. 2008 came, and before then the Sheikh Zayed Road was crazy busy, and then it emptied out for a period of time, didn't it?
That's the time I started. That was the peak of the global financial crisis, triggered by the real estate crisis.
And you started.
Yeah.
So that was a really difficult time, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows from 2008 onwards after that recession, because it didn't just carry on that gradual line upwards, did it?
Yeah.
It was a bumpy journey.
We went upwards till 2013. We started to stabilize with slight growth all the way to end 14. 15, we went through a dip. A lot has changed regionally within those 5 years, 15 to 20, topped by COVID. The market kept softening from 15 all the way to 20. And then the knockdown was COVID. That's the time the government, if anything, started to invest more and more in the infrastructure. And they saw the biggest opportunity in that challenge. And because the market's been softening for 5 years, it became beyond affordable. Like one of the investors who did 2 billion dirhams worth of investment, his first time investment in Dubai in real estate. He told me he was flying somewhere else during COVID on a private flight, and he stopped by Dubai. And when he saw the prices and the level of service, that was the trigger for him to invest 2 billion dirhams worth of properties in Dubai.
Wow.
So, and then you see how the government made the most out of that opportunity.
There's people out there that are judging Dubai. You know, Dubai is talked about around the world. It's a big brand, but there's people thinking, should I come? Should I not come? You know, this place is too hot to live in the summer. The property market's going to explode, and there's going to be a crash because it's so high right now. You know, they don't have tax, but we just seen income tax be brought in Oman. So maybe they'll bring income tax in. You know, there's corporation tax now that wasn't there before. Maybe corporation tax is going to go high. Is it going to be as good over the course of the next 20 years as it was over the last 20 years?
It's all about the value.
What do you say to people that think like that?
I think, you know, it's all about where and what you can get for your dollar, and what you can get in Dubai for your dollar, you don't get anywhere else in the world. Even in the best cities in the world, like this, the level of safety combined with infrastructure, quality of services, you just don't get. It just doesn't exist. There's no benchmark. There's genuinely no benchmark. And it's only a matter of time for more and more people to be exposed to the experience of Dubai and what Dubai has to offer. And just more and more people will come.
Where's this population going? We're at 4 million now. What do you think will happen over the next 20 years?
I think this, you know, for example, we talk about the real estate market today. We say, okay, it's slowing down, but what's slowing down is the speed of growth. So we've had few X's, you know, in the last few years. It's unrealistic to say that again, every year it will go 1X, right? So the speed is slowing. But I think the speed of the growth of population will only multiply, will only be bigger and better, to the extent that what people think as an oversupply today, it will be an undersupply situation in the future.
I think one thing that people misunderstand is that you've got 4 million people here now, whereas we had 1.6 20 years ago. Those 4 million people here now, they're getting married, they're having babies. They're moving from 1-bedroom apartments into 2-bedroom, into houses where that didn't exist before. So it's not just the people that are arriving and taking residencies. It's now people having kids and having greater needs from a home perspective as well. So when you look at that, I'm like, okay, yeah, we see the numbers of the new people moving into Dubai, but hold on, this population is growing just indigenously now.
This is nothing. I swear to God. I remember when I was interviewed for Expo, I said, stop thinking about where property prices will be during the Expo, because the government is not investing billions and billions of dollars in infrastructure just to make money in this 6 months, just for hotels to make money in this 6 months. Expo is just basically a platform for more people to come during those 6 months, for some people, you know, to come for the first time to Dubai and to see what Dubai offers and to be like, wow, I didn't even think that this exists anywhere else in the world. And then more people will come. So it's a long-term game. And like I said, if you want to know the future of any business or any city, just look at how clients are treated and how client-focused that company is. Because you can achieve certain spikes of success. You can overpromise clients and get many of these clients to be extremely happy, but ultimately when you don't deliver, you know, you're going to have unhappy clients and your business model will collapse. Dubai is, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is basically, his North Star is how people feel living in this city, how people feel when they arrive to the airport. This is not a coincidence. It's intentional. It's planned. All what happened worldwide and regionally and did not get Dubai to deviate for 1 second or to compromise for 1 second over the experience of people. And I'm telling you, the minute you arrive to the airport, wherever you come from, the level of respect, the comfort you feel with the immigration officers, you don't feel anywhere else in the world. Even in the best countries where countries that keep talking about human rights and I don't know what, You would never be more comfortable in any airport in the world. Forget all this amazing architecture design, interior design. The immigration officers of Dubai airport is a testament to how this whole thing been planned. You know, these people are trained. They have, you know, KPIs. These people are trained. It's not coincidentally every single police officer, every single immigration officer is so kind to you. In fact, it's a model, it's a benchmark. People now, when they go, if anyone wakes up worldwide and says, okay, we want to improve our situation as a city, they say, okay, I want you to operate same like Dubai airport.
Is this the best city and country to start a business in that you believe, period, or is there somewhere better?
To be honest, I mean, I haven't been to so many countries and I didn't try to start businesses in so many countries, but all I can say is it's probably the world's most overworked place because there are so many clear vacancies and there are so many clear opportunities that already took place in markets that are 100 years old. And you know that it's coming to Dubai, 100%. As the market mature, it's coming to Dubai, 100%. So I would say the level of agility the government sector moves in Dubai is no other probably government in the world that moves with the same level of agility as we move here in Dubai.
What percentage?
Which means it's best for those who are starting their new businesses, because now the entire world is much faster with AI. And if the government that sets the framework for people and the regulatory, practices and the whole legal framework, if they don't move with very high level of agility, they will be behind 100%. But people will still work 10 hours. Those who are hardworking people, still gonna do 10 hours. So it's just the level of productivity is like literally off the roof. And you need the government that can keep up with the speed, with the new speed. AI brings a new speed to how things move.
What percentage of your success do you attribute to being in Dubai?
I think it's the platform. So I would say, to start with, if this platform was not here, I think the principles to succeed are there everywhere. So if I put the same effort in any country in the world, I will still succeed, right? But the scale, the speed, I think unless you have a Dubai platform, and unless timing is also important. Mm-hmm. The opportunities Dubai presented 5 years back is different from today and is different from 10 years later, right? So I think the biggest opportunity in Dubai, we are part of a city that is being built as we speak. Literally, the entire city is being built as we speak. Markets are being built as we speak. So that entry point opportunity will not happen twice. You're not gonna have this city getting rebuilt every 20 years or 30 years. This is an insane opportunity, especially when you work, when the platform is led by, visionary people. And I'm not just saying this about the government just to be so nice to the government. It's unbelievable. Seeing is believing. I swear, every time I travel out of Dubai, it's like you kind of just don't get impressed with anything. And in fact, you get disappointed. It's like, because in the back of your head, you're always benchmarking to what you get in Dubai.
Yeah, what your standards are. Last questions.
The only thing I miss, so I'm not biased, is nature. I love nature. So, for example, I spent some time in Iceland. You can never get the same nature and in Dubai. But with the work you do in Dubai and the financial success you can build in Dubai, you can be anywhere.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Last question for you. You're living overseas. You've seen this all online right now. You've heard people talking about it. There's lots of people that have gone over there and moved there, and they've talked about Dubai. But you're hesitant because you know what you know. You know England, you know New York, you know Germany, you know wherever it is you're from. What should people do? Should they listen to commentators on Dubai, or should they try another approach before they decide whether this really is the place for them?
I mean, the best is to talk to the right people in Dubai. So if they know anyone in Dubai, and people who are good examples, right? Because the same thing in sales, we spoke a lot about sales. The market is as good as the salesman. If the salesman is doing well, it's always positive, despite what the market is, right? So the same way, if you just talk to decent people who've been, living their life in Dubai for quite some time, and that's one big part of that would explain to you and tell you about Dubai and living in Dubai. But today, the entire world is so transparent. Today, you go to social media, you will find everything. It's just like nothing can be hidden anymore, whether it's good or bad. Today, I go to ChatGPT and for example, I'm just investing now with one developer who's basically a global developer. They have 40 different massive communities worldwide, and from the US to Europe, and now they're in Dubai. So I went to ChatGPT. I said, go and research and tell me about every single bad press they had, every single problem that went online they had. I want a report on that thing. And what do you anticipate based on that? What do you anticipate to happen in Dubai? What challenges you anticipate? So honestly, today there's very high level of transparency across the board for everything. So today, whether you talk to people, you check the social media. Today, if you want to know about someone, he said, how would you know about someone? You look at their social media, right? It's just crazy.
I do exactly the same.
Yeah.
I know you, but I put into ChatGPT, tell me everything you know about Firas.
Yeah.
Okay, and it comes out all this information, all these various comments, and
like we should do a standalone episode on AI and social media. That is a very, very interesting space.
Fascinating subject.
Yeah,
mate, it's been great having you on the show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your insights. I'm sure that many people will be so inspired by your story because you've done such an incredible job. I'm really proud to know you.
Thank you so much.
And it's really great to see your success over the years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Take care, bro.